It's just gone about 4 a.m. and I've got up because I've got a flight to catch to go to Seville for a couple of days. I'm going to look around the city and to sort out some accommodation for when I go back at the end of August. It should be interesting to have a look at the city I'm going to be living in for 5 months of my life, but it's not a nice time to be awake, to be honest. Alright then, let's go. So I'm here. I'm in Seville. I got in at about 10:30 Spanish time. I'm pretty tired still, but I think the excitement's got to me, so I'm able to get up and do stuff. First impression is that it is hot. And when I say hot, I mean 37 degrees. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's the air conditioning that I've just turned on because the room is sweltering. The camera's probably doing a very good job of letting you know how warm I currently am. So when I got to the airport, I went out the other side, got a taxi straight to my hotel. I went straight to the accommodation agency where I met a couple of really nice people who then took me out and showed me around a few different apartments. The first one smelt really bad. The previous tenants had left like fish and all sorts of stuff in the fridge and the freezer and just turned it off and left. And in this heat, you can imagine, that wasn't really a great thing to walk into a flat to. I mean, it was quite far out of the centre anyway, but still, it sort of puts you off a bit. The second place I went to was actually really nice. It was sort of like an Arab, Moroccan-y sort of place, more in the centre, quite expensive, but it was really nice. The third place I went to go look at, we didn't have the right keys, so I'm going to go back tomorrow, but that one looked really promising. So what I'm about to do now is we're going to go out to the town. It's currently about 3:30 in the afternoon, so right in the middle of the siesta, which is because it's really hot outside, so everyone goes and takes a break. But what it also means is it should be a bit quieter, so I should be able to stroll around with a camera and not feel quite so stupid. Okay, cool. Let's go. Okay, so I've got my map. I've circled a few different places I want to go to. There's a Plaza de España over there. There's this is the main central region here. I'll see what I can fit in, basically. So this is the Plaza Encarnación. It's quite an it's quite an interesting architectural point, as I'm sure you can see. Apparently it's a bit controversial because it doesn't really fit in with most of the architecture here in Seville, which is very classically Spanish, but also has a mixture of sort of Arabic influences. I don't know what you think, I quite like it myself. I think the juxtapositioning between the different sorts of architecture works really well actually, but I'll leave that one up to you to decide for yourselves. Check out this lift. I'm just going up to the top of the monument now. This is a pretty space-age lift, isn't it? Okay, so I'm at the top now, and even if you don't like it at all, if you don't like the monument, you can't argue with that view, can you? Panoramic, all the way across the city. It's quite something. So yeah, whether you like the architecture or not, I think it's worth it just for these views that you get. Right, well, I came here because I saw on a map that there were some Roman columns, and I can't argue about that. They're not quite as impressive as I'd hoped, but you know, they're here. There's something more interesting though. It's a poster that I've just seen, so let's go have a look at that. So just next to the columns, I saw this poster that I found quite funny. It's a poster advertising Scotch whiskey, and it says, "Si lo haces para llevarte mujeres a la cama, no lo hagas," saying, if you're doing it to get women into bed, don't do it. I'm not really sure if they're saying don't drink our whiskey if the aim is to get women drunk and into bed, but it's an interesting poster nonetheless. So I'm walking down one of the main pedestrian roads now, Calle Sierpes, and it's pretty empty, mainly because it's still in the middle of the siesta, but you can get an idea of what it looks like. It's really pretty, and you can see the things above me helping cool everyone down that's walking beneath. So that's really nice, and they're going to walk this way now to the town hall and then to the cathedral. seems like I'm here on the outside of the cathedral. Pretty spectacular looking building, I've got to say. Let's see if I can get in it. So just here on the other side of the cathedral we have the Giralda, which is supposedly, so I was told today, the tallest building in Seville. Now, there's a bank that's also trying to build a really tall skyscraper in Seville that will actually become the tallest if it succeeds. But the local municipality has ground that to a halt because it wants to own the tallest building in Seville. It's a bit of a coup. So yeah, that's what I found out today, just on the other side of the cathedral. And if you fancy getting a horse and cart, you know where to come. So behind me we have the really old walls that date back from the 12th century. I just went into the tourist office just there to ask a bit about it. So it forms the outside of the fortress of the Real Alcázar, which is a fortress dating back to the 12th century. So before the Reconquest and before the Inquisition. So it's really old basically. It's the oldest part of Seville and I'm just going to go walk through it now. Let's go. Oops, so I sort of just tried to walk into the exit and they kicked me out. So next stop then, eh? So I've just found number 36 on La Avenida de Constitución, just opposite the cathedral, and this is where I'm going to be working. So I'm going to be teaching here in the private language school, and it just so happens it's right next to Starbucks. So you don't get more international than that. Cool, so I'm just going to pop in briefly and say hello to everyone. Right, so I just went in, had a chat with the director of the language school. Turns out she's actually from somewhere very close to Bologna, which is where I'm going to be going in my second part of the year abroad in Italy, which is really strange. A girl caught me taking a photo of a sign just outside the language school as I was going in, and she started chuckling at me, which was a bit awkward when I then followed her up the stairs and introduced myself to her. I'm in the Jardines de Catalina de Ribera, and I'm about to see the Christopher Columbus statue, and as you can see, it's just a very nice place to be. Okay, so I'm here, I'm at the Christopher Columbus Memorial, and it looks pretty good actually, in my opinion. It's got a ship that runs through the middle of it, and at the top it says Cristóbal Colón, which is his name in Spanish, and it has Isabel written in the middle of it, Isabel. I don't know who that is that his wife? I don't know. So there it is, the Christopher Columbus Monument, and very nice gardens, it has to be said. If I was Christopher Columbus, I would be happy with that. Let's be honest, this place is pretty cool. This is La Plaza de España, and if you've watched my very first video, this is the one I put a photo of when I talked about Seville. You ready? Here you go. So that's pretty impressive. It's like a mini Venice. Look at the little bridge over there. Planet background. It's really impressive, and I think this is probably my favourite spot so far, just because on the other side of it we have a really nice park that you can just chill out in, do whatever, go for a run, sit and read. So behind me I have the Palacio de San Telmo. I have no idea what it is apart from a big impressive building with flags out the front. If you haven't guessed yet, that green flag is the flag of Seville, then you have the Spanish flag and then the European Union flag. Another impressive building, but to be honest, I'm getting pretty tired. Just down here, I'm just by the waterfront now, just by the river, and just down here I'm going to go see the Plaza de Toros, the bullring, and then I'm going to show you the bridge which links Seville to another part of Seville, which is called Triana. It's pretty difficult to imagine a more stereotypical scene for Seville than a bullring, orange trees and a matador. So I think this sums up Seville pretty well. So I'm here at the Plaza de Toros in Seville, and it's pretty cool actually. I've went to one in Ronda before, but this one's much cooler. It's got a capacity of about 13,000, which makes it a medium-sized bullring, and it's one of the largest still in use on a regular basis today in Spain. What I didn't know is that it has different gates for different things. So one of them will be for the bulls to come in alive, one's when they're dragged out having been killed, one's for the matadors when they come in, and one's for the triumphant matadors to leave out of. It has specific seating arrangements as well. So the cheapest seating is up there at the top in the sun, and the most expensive is at the bottom in the shade. And over here, you've got a specific area that's reserved only for the royal family of Spain. I don't have any idea how often they come, if at all. So whilst I don't necessarily agree with everything that bullfighting stands for, like the sport in itself, I accept that it's a really important Spanish tradition, and it's something that I need to view nonetheless, because I'm here to experience the culture. So here I am. Apparently they can earn up to 150,000 euros for every fight. That's a lot of money, isn't it? And also, you know how supposedly bulls are attracted by the colour red? Apparently bulls are colourblind and they're only attracted by the movement. So learn something new every day, don't you? Right, this is where I finish. This is Triana Bridge, which links the main part of Seville to Triana, which is just over there. It's another part of Seville, but they consider themselves more separate. So basically there's loads more to see and do over there. Apparently there are some really cool bars, really cool places, quite alternative, but I just don't have the time and I'm knackered. I'll really look forward to exploring that when I come back at the end of August. The weather's been great. I'm hot, I'm dehydrated, even though I've drunk about 5 or 6 litres of fluid today. I'm glad I used my parents' air miles to come out and see Seville, and I'm really looking forward to coming back to live here for 5 months. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video and watch me getting gradually more dishevelled and dehydrated throughout the day. And I guess I'll see you soon back in England. Bye!
Por la calle.